Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the VBA podcast. I am your host, Mike, and we got all sorts of stuff to cover today. And we also have the pleasure of having both Jay and, well, Gator's back this week. Gator, how you doing?
Doing great, Mike. How are you?
Oh, just living the dream. Jay, how you doing over there?
Doing well. It's good to have Gator back. We can talk about some things today.
Back in the
What
mix.
do you really want to talk about?
Let's go.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to talk about, well, let's talk Star Wars first, right? So I assume now by now everybody's seen Kenobi, correct?
Yes.
Yep, just finished.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Gator, if you just finished, let's start with you. Let's hear your thoughts.
It's pretty fresh in my mind. Yeah, and spoiler alert for anybody out there who hasn't seen Obi-Wan in its entirety. So, yeah, we're gonna
I want
spoil
to
it.
hear Gator's take. Yeah. Leave now if you don't want to be spoiled. Leave now and never come back, or never do come back. I'm just kidding.
Come back. Come on back.
Please come back.
We need you.
We're not trying to sound desperate, but we're desperate.
Yeah, what Jay said. I'm gonna give it overall the series. I'm gonna give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
That's what I said.
Same thing.
I
Yeah.
said the exact same thing.
For me, the first few episodes were clunky. I didn't see where the plot was going. I didn't really enjoy the acting as much. Young Leia Organa was good, but here's the thing with child actors, that's really a crapshoot. And we saw that with the prequel series as well. Young Anakin, he left. I don't know. He wasn't that good in my opinion, but young Leia was pretty good overall. And when you have a series like this where child actor is such the focal point, that it's important that they're a good actor or believable in the first place. It just doesn't seem like they're forcing it. However, I will say Ewan McGregor was great all the way through.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And just the thing that really sealed the deal was this last 3 episodes were fantastic. The battles with Vader and Obi-Wan were, I don't know, top notch. Probably top 5 as far as Star Wars battles goes. The last episode battle was pretty sick. And I don't know, I've always been a big fan of Darth Vader, and this series really like cemented him as my favorite Jedi of all time. Arguably the most powerful, but Obi-Wan's in the
Mike
conversation too. So
Mike might have something to say about that after.
So I will say the last 3-4 episodes carried the series for me. It was only 6 episodes, right? So the first 3 were clunky. The last 3 really sealed the deal. And I mean 7.5 for me, and I liked it. I really did.
Jay, you gave it a 7.5?
Yeah, I'll give you my take before you go. I'll say, it's 7.5. I liked Leia. She was fine, that's fine there. The first couple episodes, I mean, there were some filler episodes, we all can agree. Like, there were just some episodes where you're like, what did I just watch? Was this like integral to the story? Like, there's just so much. I felt like just not like dead air, but there's just like and then this happens, but there's no action going on with it. But I get that they're trying to save it for like the last episode. Moses' character, a lot of people will not like what I have to say about it, but I thought she was fine. It was fine character. The only issue I had with Moses was when she straight up tried to go after Darth Vader. When they're at the the little rebel compound, and the rebels just got away. She should have died right there. Darth Vader wouldn't. Darth Vader would not have let her live. Okay. He wouldn't just stab her. Yeah, they wouldn't just. Let me tell you something. He wouldn't just stab her. He he would stab her and then he'd rip her body apart and fling it against the wall. He'd
Yeah,
break
that's
every single bone in her body and fling it.
that's honestly that's definitely Vader fashion. But you watched my video that I posted last week, and my take, it might not be the most popular take, but my take was I think he was a little more calculated in how he wanted it to sting for her, and I don't think for whatever reason, his intent was to kill her. I think that his intent was he wanted her to live the rest of her life knowing that she, had an opportunity to try to get her revenge and never
Kind of
even
like
had a chance.
Obi-Wan
Never
with
got it. Yep.
Anakin,
Like,
maybe.
like,
Yeah.
and he wanted to show her and demonstrate to her how more powerful he was, in that he was on to her little game the whole time, right? And as I
Right.
kind of just predicted, I thought, hey, well, wouldn't it be funny if like they kind of set it up like they saw her vision like with her and shared it just like she did with Obi-Wan, and just like stuck her in the same spot he did as a girl. So
Yeah.
if he did that, then I don't think his intent would have been to kill her, especially the way that they left her. But that's whether or not that sits well with
Do
you,
you sorry to
right?
interrupt. Do you think that it's more like, how with Sidious and Darth Maul in the
Yeah.
what was that, Rebels? You think it's something like that? Like,
Yes.
yeah, you're my
Yes.
rival now because
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's the
that's clearly
potential of
how
growth.
she survived it,
Yeah.
according to
Or
canon. That's how they describe it. Yeah.
or he left it open for her to like redeem herself with him. You
I
know.
don't think she's gonna try to. I mean,
But
Maybe.
yeah, to
yeah.
Mike's point, why he didn't just like slice her in half, because he left it open for the third sister to redeem herself and get back in his good favor. So I don't
Well,
know.
If she could
I
prove
agree.
herself useful.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree with, like, it's kind
And
of
he
like
and
if
he
you
and
love
she could
something,
have.
let it go, sort of thing. Like he lets her go, right, and then she becomes
Yeah.
stronger because of it, or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Dude, for me, Vader had so many good lines in this
Yeah,
series. He was like,
James Earl Jones, man, the
yeah,
voice of a
Yes.
fucking king.
Loved
Star
him.
Vader.
Wars.
Vader stole the series.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure he did.
Oh, dude, and the
is
and
the
the
best part.
and the last episode when he slices his helmet in half, and they were going half Anakin, half Vader.
Yes.
Dude, that was so sick. That was
Yeah, they
like
tied
that
the
was a
voices
great
together. Yeah.
juxtaposition, and they played the voice acting perfectly. I thought.
Yeah.
Well,
Hayden
let me
Christensen did a
rephrase.
great
Yeah,
job. Great job, in
yeah.
my opinion.
They did a good job saving him
Absolutely.
until that point. Actually, like I was getting kind of annoyed that I wasn't
Oh,
able to see his face as much.
yeah.
But
Just one
yeah,
more thing. The previous episode when they did the flashback fight with when they were training Obi
yeah,
Wan
that's
and
good.
Anakin, dude, that was sweet too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're too aggressive, Anakin. Yeah,
What about
that was a great like series of scenes there.
the end of the last episode when he's riding through the two canyons for the pod race? I think it was a pod race, or maybe it was just two
Oh,
canyons.
Qui-Gon. Yeah, well, so I'm making it. I've just finished the script this morning. And
Qui
I've
Gon spinoff.
recorded. Well, it has to do with my interpretation of how, not how I think they will necessarily approach, but how I would like to see them approach season two if they do season two. And before we quickly get to that, I'll just give you quick my rating on the show so far. You guys both gave it 7.5. That was actually exactly what I was thinking. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to say, well, I'll give it an 8 because I think that they wrapped everything up very well in the
Yeah.
way that they intended to. Like, they didn't leave the Leia stuff hanging, like whether or not she should have known if it was Obi-Wan or if it was Ben. Like, I think they did a pretty good job of explaining that. And when I look back at it, I really loved Leia's character. Obviously, Ian McGregor did fantastic.
Yeah,
Hayden
he did.
Christensen did fantastic. Moses
Yeah.
Ingram, I like. I think that the writing wasn't the greatest for her, but she did the best she could do, and
Yeah.
I thought she did her job just fine. And I think if we saw her appear again, which I don't think would be for a sequel for Kenobi, but let's say maybe it's like for like a second season of Andor or something. If we
Mhm.
did see her again, under different circumstances and with different writing, I think Star Wars fans would be pleasantly surprised on what they actually get from her character.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do a lot with her and a lot of character development with her moving forward.
Yeah, that's probably the case. I
I,
mean, look at the Phantom Menace when it came out, right? Like all the flack it got for
oh,
Jar
a ton.
Jar and tons of flack, but the one caveat of the Phantom Menace that ended up being really good was, oh, we think Darth Maul died, and then Clone Wars and Rebels and all the animated shows they did that gave him his backstory. And like, you don't even have to watch all of the episodes. You can just watch the Darth Maul, you know, like they're on YouTube. They're just cuts of Darth Maul's story, and yeah, those are great.
I would
Absolutely,
love a Darth Maul origin story. I think
dude.
he's one of the coolest characters in all the
He's
series.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
and
you mean like
he doesn't really get explored. Like his backstory doesn't really get explored that much.
well they do. They do in Clone
They do.
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
they
in
Oh
Clone
do.
yeah,
Wars.
yeah. You're right. You're right.
That's what I'm talking
But
about, like the
they could
animated stuff.
retell it. They could retell it like do like a live action thing. But I really like the guy, what's his name, who does Jay, you remember his name? Is it Sam? He does the voice. He did Star Killer and then he did the voice for Maul. He
Oh,
does so like
yeah.
Sam Woodward or something. He does
Well, the guy that
yeah,
voices Starkiller. Oh, I think it's
yeah.
it's different guy that from the actor that played him, right? He did
No.
Starkiller and he did Darth Maul.
Well, I'll go back and check. But
Yeah, just check real quick.
yeah, he definitely does Darth Maul, and he does a fantastic job. I really liked his how he portrayed him in Clone Wars, and even better, I liked him in Rebels. I thought he was incredible in Rebels. But it would be weird if they didn't use him as an actor for Maul now. Like it just wouldn't feel like the
Oh,
same
Sam
Maul.
Witwer. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sam
There you go.
Witwer.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
said
mean, you could
Woodward.
use him. You could use. I mean, there are clips from just at like the Star Wars event, like the
Yeah,
conventions they have of the original actor who played him, and he does the double lightsaber spin. Like it's never left his body.
Oh
It's like a muscle
yeah,
memory for the guy. Like he's
yeah.
itching to play him again. You could tell.
Where they do like kind of mock lightsaber battles, and that guy is just yeah. He has like a stick almost, and he treats it like a
yeah.
dual
He's a
edged lightsaber.
stunt
Yeah, and
man.
yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I just want to. I thought James Earl Jones was dead, but he's still alive at 91.
No. Yeah,
Dude, I don't know. Maybe this is what do they
I
call it?
love James Earl Jones. I love him.
What's that called when you remember something differently than how it actually uh
Mandela effect.
yeah, Mandela effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe I'm having just a Mandela effect right now, but I thought he died like 10 years
Bernstein
ago, but
Bears. Yeah.
he's still kicking at 91. So,
Well,
that's my mistake. I didn't know it was him voicing Darth
I'm
Vader.
glad I'm glad he's still around. You know, with some of these people, it just kind of reminds me like remember that South Park episode where they would inject cash into their veins to cure their HIV. It's like these rich people, they live forever. You know, John Williams, he's well in his 90s, and it's like,
Right. I mean,
but hey, I would
James Earl
love
Jones
to
is
see him.
still living off his Sandlot
Oh,
Yes,
Sandlot,
Sandlot days.
Fields of
that was a
Dreams.
fantastic movie.
Yeah, Field of
He
Dreams
was
is
in
great.
Conan the Barbarian. He's the bad guy in that, and his father. Doctor Strangelove. If you guys ever watched that, that's a really old movie.
Yep.
I watched it with my dad.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
he's good, man.
Yeah,
Man.
well, So I think that covers a lot. I mean, well, here'll be my last question. Do you guys think, Gator, you can start? Would you like to see a season two? And if you did see a season two, what would you like to see from that?
Um, yeah, I'm gonna say yes because I like Ewan McGregor. But they pretty much finished the Vader storyline. They probably don't meet until whatever, A New Hope, right? This is the next time they meet in that battle on the Star Destroyer in A New
Yep.
Hope. So they're finishing off that storyline. I mean, I like Ewan McGregor, and I would like to see how Leia progresses, and then I mean, young Luke too. That'd be kind of cool to see how he grows up, and finds the force. Just sees little things as he's growing up, like finding the force and all that. Yeah, I mean, I'll say yes. I'll say yes, but I'm kind of tentative on it.
Yeah, Jay.
Well, I just want to say, James Earl Jones. Just one thing: the movie A Family Thing with Robert Duvall is
Yeah.
is like it's probably one of the top 100 movies for me. Such a good movie. I just love him, man. When he came back as Darth Vader, like
Hmm.
just it's
I
that's
was
the
looking up his Wikipedia. Hunt for Red October too. Come on now,
oh my god, I
Great
forgot
movie.
about
what a
that.
great movie, man, with Sean
Man,
Connery.
yeah, I'm Sean Connery.
I love
Yeah,
that movie.
yeah. He's just a powerhouse, man. He's just so good. Oh, so good. But yeah, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for second season. Like Hayden and
So
Christensen and
you'd like to see
Hugh
more
McGregor. They
Vader?
want. I
Yeah,
mean, everyone
yeah,
wants to see more Vader. Like that's what
yeah. Well,
everyone
for sure,
wants. You know,
for sure.
Okay, for
everyone
me,
wants to. Yeah.
the coolest thing, one of the coolest thing that I think the top coolest thing that Vader did was when he brought that starship from taking off, when he just brought it back and
Yeah,
crashed it.
A
Dude,
lot of
that
fans really like that.
how powerful is he to do that, man? That's insane.
It's
That
pretty
that that's
powerful.
yeah,
yeah, that's one of the strongest things that's ever happened in any Star Wars movie.
yeah. Like in Legends, Starkiller, there's this scene where he pulls an like an entire Star Destroyer, like those huge
What?
fleet ships, and pulls it from orbit like into the ground and
What?
just destroys it. Yeah, you should watch it
That's
on YouTube.
Starkiller or Vader?
Jeez.
Starkiller does that.
Man, he's OP. It's probably why
Really,
they're.
if you're wondering why he's Legends, yeah. But there's, for
Yeah.
making my trailer, like my video for the Jedi Survivor game, I've seen
Mhm.
a lot of people are really jacked about him, and they want to see him back, and they want to see him introduced into canon, and I'd love to see it too. I really would, but man, they almost feel like they need to nerf him a little.
They
But
need to.
he's
He's really OP.
yeah, but
And they
I'd
gave him the
love
name
I'd love to see
Starkiller.
him.
Need to
Like
patch in
Yeah,
some nerfs.
that should tell you something because didn't George Lucas originally want to name Luke Skywalker Starkiller? Like Luke Starkiller?
that might be accurate.
Like yeah, they like I'm pretty sure his original name wasn't going to be Skywalker. It was going to I thought it was going to be Starkiller, but he ended up changing it for whatever reason. And so they
Interesting
just ended up using that name for this character, which, you know, it's kind of like an ode to, an old idea
Mhm.
for a great character, Legends character.
for sure. Yeah. So what I'll say on the sequel, I would like to see a sequel. What I would most like to see is because the Qui-Gon Jinn scene at the end really like hit me. And
Yeah.
what I would love to see is there's this huge rift, or let's call it like a gap that they need to bridge from, and it starts with George Lucas, where this moment where Vader dies and he like instantly becomes a Force ghost. Okay, and he appears in front of Luke like literally right after he dies, where Qui Gon, Obi Wan, Yoda go through years of training to learn how to do that, and they don't offer a very concrete explanation. There's one in Legends, but it's not canon, and there's like they even like move the goalpost even further, like in The Rise of Skywalker, where if you remember the end of that movie, where Rey is like all of a sudden has like the power of all the Jedi, like working with her. She's got people speaking to her in the final scene that like died in Order 66, right? So you have all these Jedi that have really ever existed that are now like in, you know, some form. They're a force spirit now, and there's not really there's no good explanation for it, which kind of just leaves a lot of, I think it's kind of created a little bit of divide for some Star Wars fans.
For
So
Forest
I
Spirits? Yeah.
yes, in Force Ghosts, in explaining how they work, what the capabilities are. I really dug into this topic, and I've got a really cool video I'm going to be releasing about that. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but I would love to see them explore that. Right, I'd love to see them get into like Obi-Wan, like, hey, why not even go to Dagobah, right? So you go to Dagobah with Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Yoda, the three of them are together, and then they piece together, they figure out, not only like how to become Force ghosts, but they figure out like how they can make other Jedi's, like as an example, like Anakin when he dies, how they can utilize the power to be able to make them Force ghosts as well. And that's what I would like to see, but who knows?
That's like ascension for Jedi, right? That's like
Yeah,
the final level is you can force ghost and you can still portray like your power,
right.
after your physical body is gone.
Yeah. If there's any like a good example of a really good Forest Ghost comes from the Kotar games when you're in Korriban and you're exploring the tombs and you run into like I think one or two of them and one of
Yeah.
them just like
Sith
messes
ones.
with you. He just messes with you like the entire time you're in the tomb and you like he makes you he gives you a decision at the end to like kill this Sith Academy guy. It's part of the quest,
Yeah,
or you like help him out and he still ends up like trying to kill you or something.
no, for sure he does. Yeah, yeah, and they that character in particular is a big reason why George decided to pull the plug. He was going to have Revan included in an episode of Clone Wars, and one of the reasons why he chose to leave it as Legends was because he didn't agree with how the Sith were able to do that or kind of gain their immortality, right?
Maybe
But
it was
like
just like a
Disney,
light side only thing or something.
yeah, to him it was. But like
Yeah.
Disney has gone on to do a variety of things that are now canon. Like in the comics, there's
Mhm.
this guy named Darth Mammon, and he goes back to like old Republic times, and he has a mask that he's possessed with his spirit, and like later Vader has to like he like helps Vader like construct this temple in Mustafar or something like that. But like he literally has lived on for thousands of years through that object. And then of course they have like the whole like cloning thing and and all that they've done with that. But as far as like the way they've intended it in Kotar, I think they were very close to actually making like Knights of the Old Republic and all that canon. But that was like the defining thing for George.
With the Old Republic and Kotar, like I didn't play I didn't play through the Old Republic MMO game, but I have a friend Pat who lives in
Yeah,
I think he's in West Virginia and he like loves it. He bought me and uh, our other buddy Brandon. He bought us subs to play the Old Republic with him, and we just like we got on a few times, but we never really find the time to
sure.
play it. And the the lore behind I think it's for like the second or third expansion. There's a cinematic, and you've probably seen it, and it's two boys, and
Yeah.
they pretty much grow up under the tutelage of this guy, and basically that guy he's like Darth Vitiate or Vidiot. I don't know how you say
Yes.
it, and he is
Yeah.
insanely powerful.
Right. I
Insanely
mean,
like transferring his life force to other people and possess them, and like
yes. Yes.
He can just like that is something that
Yeah, and
I think
even
it should be explored.
Revan is like, as powerful as Revan. I mean, Revan was not the
Sorry,
most powerful. Like
no,
like, yeah, him and he, they obviously go on to tell his story quite a bit. And then a lot of the characters from the Knights of the Old Republic, they go on to tell their stories too. Like a lot of the characters from like the companions from the second game that you can technically make into Jedi or you can technically choose not to. But like as far as like the version of canon that the EU version of that is that they many of them went on to end up like forming their own Jedi Council after the fact, after the events of the second game. So there's oh god, there's a ton of lore and story out there for that stuff.
there's
And yeah,
also
well,
a ton
yeah,
of unknowns though too, Mike. Like I saw something the other
right.
day. There's a YouTube video, and this guy was saying basically the title of the YouTube video, and credits to whoever this is. I'm sorry, I forget your name right now, but the title of the video is half of the Star Wars universe, like the space universe, half of it is unexplored. So they could like, yeah, this the
Oh
last of
yeah,
the Sith were wiped out, but do they really know that? Like maybe the Sith, went farther out, into the uncharted parts of the Empire and the Republic, and they're making a Star Forge, or they could do something with that. I don't know.
yeah. But from what I hear, you wanted to. I know you were talking on my ear all week about Taika Waititi. So isn't he?
Oh
The
yeah,
news came out about that, right? So he's going to be directing, um, kind of the next film. What's next for the from a film standpoint for Star Wars, right?
yeah. So there's very little known. Anything Taika Waititi that comes out on the internet, I just watch. I just absorb it because yeah, he is I think he's my favorite director right now. Like he's come out with, What We Do in the Shadows was probably his second most popular movie or third because he did Thor. But
Ragnarok.
What We Did in the Shadows, man, is like such a good movie. Um, he did, The Hunt for the Wilder People, Eagle versus Shark, and there's just something about that New Zealand. It has to do with New Zealand because there's just that
Is he
quirky.
part of Flight of the Concords?
Yeah, he did. He did
Yeah, he
a. He
was.
directed a few episodes of Flight of the Concords.
I
That's the
mean,
thing with the
is
Kiwis,
he
man. They
one
stick
of the
together
is he
and
one
like
of the members, or is he just
he
like
just like wrote for
pays
them.
for
I think. Yeah, he wrote for them. He made a couple episodes, but as to the new Star Wars movie that he is making, it's kind of speculation. I think he's completely making like a whole new story that's
Yeah,
unrelated to Skywalker.
that's what I've
so
heard.
they're
Right.
they're
I think
Yeah.
he's.
remaking Akira too, and he's directing it.
Oh my gosh, if they do an Akira movie, Mike doesn't really watch
Like
anime, but if they
Akira's
do an
sick.
oh
Akira's
my,
really good.
I remember watching Akira when well, I remember I forget how old I was. It had to be in like the early 2000s. It was definitely, already past the point of when it came out. But the cool story about Akira, I think like three different art companies came together and it was like this multi-million dollar project. Like
Came
they
out in
they were
1988.
yeah, when I was born, when we were
Same.
born.
Yeah.
So th- this movie came out and the budget and the site behind it, like today, no animated movie would spend that amount of money to make an animated movie.
It was groundbreaking at the time.
Oh,
And it
it
still
was
holds up.
insane. Oh yeah,
I just
it's
watched
one
it a
of
couple
the
years ago,
yeah,
and yeah, man, one of my favorite anime movies of all time for sure.
yeah,
Up
definitely
there
like
with the Miyazaki movies.
well, Miyazaki always just sorry for going on a tangent, Mike, but yeah, Miyazaki movies are just they're
Yeah,
Yeah,
always great.
it's up there. I mean, it's up there in that conversation though.
Yeah.
yeah. I like South Park. That's a good anime. How about
Simpsons.
what? Yeah, they're it's
If
all
if
right.
he if he does Akira right, like it's it's gonna be insane.
I was just looking at his IMDb, and it says it's in production or whatever.
I thought
Or,
Jordan Peele was gonna do it, but man,
and
I just
has
hope he
him.
doesn't get burned out. He's making all these
Yeah,
movies.
and just I want to go on one more side tangent on Westworld.
Sure.
Premieres tomorrow, season 4. So I don't know if you guys watch that. I know I've talked about it before on this
I'll start
show,
up
but
again.
dude, I love Westworld, and I liked season 3. I don't know, maybe it's an unpopular opinion against the purists, or
Mhm.
yeah, right, unpopular opinion, but I loved season 3, and I am really excited for season 4. We get to see Jesse Pinkman back in action.
So Jesse Pinkman
Oh,
came in
he's in that?
season 2 or
Yeah,
season 3?
season 3.
So I'm on
Yeah.
season 3, so I can catch up. We
Yeah,
can
you
talk
can
about
catch up, and I like season 3 for sure.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I watched the first episode where she like just murders all those like corporate gang guys or whatever. Like she's in a park and then he meets her in
Oh yeah, yep.
the underway. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out. I didn't really go back and rewatch it, but it was must see TV for me every Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll
Jeffrey
definitely.
Jeffrey Wright is great. Evan Rachel Wood, of course, is great. Aaron Paul is his name. That's Jesse Pinkman. Ed
Yeah.
Harris is in it. Um,
The
you
Man
know,
in Black,
yep.
Yul
I don't know.
Brynner.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen the first season is one of the best seasons of TV ever,
Yeah, it's
and
Yeah, I
really
saw
good, the
and
that.
first
just the
season.
twist that they, whatever. I'm
Anthony
not going to spoil
Hopkins.
it. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Sir Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. It's one of my favorite seasons of TV ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna start it up again. I'll just try
Yeah,
to get some like an episode a day maybe.
sure.
Anyways,
Sure.
yeah, I know
Talk
we're
about
going off on tangent after tangent here.
No, it's
Hey
fine.
man, this is what this is all about.
What we
So
do.
Yeah. I was
yeah,
just
I
gonna
mean what
talk a little bit about Thor Love and Thunder with this
yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Taika.
And yeah, so you guys know too. I'll just put timestamps down, at least for the YouTube crowd. If for anyone who's listening on Apple Podcasts, well, you're screwed. But anyone who's listening on YouTube, I'll have timestamps down, so whatever they can sift through. We'll just have different categories, and they can just pick and choose what they want to listen to. But yeah, I know that Thor: Love and Thunder is coming out. Some people have already seen the early premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jay, go ahead, go after it.
No, you were on a roll there. What were you gonna say? They saw the early premiere and what were they
Um,
saying?
I haven't. I've just been seeing it on YouTube. I haven't heard what people have been saying.
IMDb has it with an 8.2 right now.
Well,
8.2. Okay,
gosh.
okay.
Is that
What's
critics or
Ragnarok?
user rating?
What's Ragnarok ranked?
Um, let's see here. Ragnarok is 7.9
Oh, interesting. Because that was my favorite Thor.
with
Was in-
700,000 reviews. Love and Thunder has 1,000 reviews. So small sample size.
Yeah, yeah, but it's still a decent sample size. Um, yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously Christian Bale as the Gore the Butcher, right? That's his name. I've looked into his backstory. I think it's incredibly cool. Like he basically,
The
you
God
know,
Killer.
he lived on
Matt
this
Damon.
planet. Yeah, the Mad Demon. He lived on this planet, and he wasn't a god. He lived on this planet. In the planet, the people there were, and he was raised all the people there to worship the gods, right? And the planet was just like there's all this disaster that happened, all a lot of hardship that happened to I think the people that lived on the planet, and then he ended up like losing his entire family, and it like started. I don't know if it started with his wife or whatever. Jay might be able to get more into that, but he then basically like turned against the gods and like came across like this god who was dying, and then like he basically took like the thing that made the god powerful and like finished the job, and then all of a sudden like got all this power, and then just went on a tear of vengeance to like destroy every god he could find, which is
Well,
kind of an
the thing
interesting
with
story.
Gore the God Butcher is I know like I don't know too much, but I know like just a little bit about him, and I know that he's like a he possesses like an ancient symbiote, so it ties to Venom and like the symbiotes. So like he can just like mold weapons with the symbiote and just do,
Yeah.
he's got all these other, crazy
I,
feats.
I love this quote. I'm just reading on IMDb, but his quote is, "The only ones who gods care about is themselves. So this is my vow: all gods will die."
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
They
Yeah, I
get all
agree.
these funny actors, right? Like they get, you got Taika Waititi playing Korg, you got Chris Hemsworth being kind of goofy, and then you got Christian Bale, who's like probably one of the best, if not the best actors alive right now, and he's playing a villain. So yeah, I don't know that it's probably gonna be really good.
When's it coming out?
July, I think. July
So
'22nd,
it's already done.
like
Like it's already.
6.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
Yeah.
coming out relatively soon. Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I know another thing you wanted to talk about, Jay, is you just saw the uh, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah, it
right?
came to
Yeah,
Disney Plus. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
You
my
saw it. I saw it in
I didn't
theaters.
watch. Yeah. Yeah,
I thought it was
I thought it
amazing.
was I agree with you. They definitely did justice to Wanda finally after all this time.
Yeah, I
Like
remember.
her.
Like,
Mhm.
go ahead.
No, she like, because when you think of like, the power levels in the universe, like if we're going back to, Doctor Strange comics when they came out in like the 60s, right around the time everyone was taking psychedelics and stuff and dropping acid. And so the artists, like the visuals in the comics back then were just, they were a trip for anyone on acid or some sort of psychedelic. And Doctor Strange at the time, he was just OP back then, like just super OP. He'd go up against like, I'm pretty sure he went up against like, the Living Tribunal, and like he would just like defy them. And they over the years he's gotten nerfed down, but in this movie, it's kind of like a reunion of sorts with Sam Raimi, in his Spider-Man movies, and then he's coming back to make this movie. And just spoiler warnings for this. I mean, if you haven't seen it, where have you been? It's on Disney Plus now.
I
They
haven't seen it, but go ahead.
Oh,
Anyways.
I'm not going to say it then, because they with the
Yeah,
multiverse Gator, they tie in all of it.
Oh yeah, it's on my to watch list, but no, I haven't seen it yet. I really did like the first one though.
And they really like, back to Wanda, like, with X-Men, Phoenix Gray, she's the most powerful, right? Like when you think, if you watch X-Men,
yeah. I think
people can
we
argue,
had a
well,
talk. We had a talk about this. A very very in depth conversation about this, and we think yes, she's the most powerful because she's much much more durable, right?
if for X-Men, like if we're not looking at like,
No, there's
Celestials, or
X Men. We're
like
just looking at X Men. That's all we're
just
talking
looking at X-Men, um like yeah, the Phoenix Force is, it's just stupid OP, but Wanda in this movie, when, oh my god, Gator, I can't. She's so
I'll watch it.
OP.
I'll watch it before
She's
next
so
episode, and
OP.
we can delve into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
She
we'll dive in. We'll save that. So this is kind of we'll
Yeah.
just do more of like a non spoiler thing here, and then the next podcast we'll do more of a kind of like a spoiler take. We'll get into it more. But let's shift over to video games. Let's start talking about that.
Yeah.
Since we did our last cast, I think we did that right before the Summer Games Fest with Xbox and Bethesda, and so the Starfield gameplay, footage came out. I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys had an opportunity to see that yet, but
25
yeah,
years in the making, by the way. 25
yeah,
years.
25 years.
Really?
Yep. In the
Yeah.
game,
What they say.
Holy
the
crap!
yeah, the game is it's very much there's a lot of it's kind of getting a mixed thing right now. A lot of people are kind of feeling about it because it does look and feel a good
Like
amount
Fallout.
on no, like No Man's Sky.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the thing I would say that's similar to Fallout would be um,
The
the
building.
clear. You have your structure. Yeah, you have your settlement building, but that's also expanded into now you can build your own ships, spaceships, and it's been confirmed that you can fly your own spaceships and you can like to battle other spaceships when you're in outer space. But the other thing I would say that's really similar to Fallout is like, which I actually really like, is how you like change your weapons. Where if you play those types of games on a controller like I do, it's really convenient because you could tap, like it gives you like 9 different weapon options at your disposal. You can just like tap like right on the D-pad 3 times if you want to like select a certain weapon. So I really like that they have that element. And then I get there. The other similarity too is that they have ballistic weapons and they have energy weapons, right? So that is one thing too. So yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of similarities to Fallout. And to be honest, to me, I'm not super critical of the No Man's Sky stuff because I think they just probably just took the best parts of the game, which is maybe the ease of gathering resources and the procedural generation. But Todd Howard, I know, has confirmed, like in an interview, he's confirmed that they're not everything is procedurally generated. You know, especially like their cities. But he said there's a fair amount of planets. I don't know what proportion to like. There's going to be get it by the way if you don't know. There's over 1,000 planets in the game. I don't
What?
know. Yeah, there's gonna be over 1,000 planets in the game. So
And I'm sure they're gonna have DLC to add even more.
sure, yeah.
Well,
But
yeah.
but but he has confirmed that they are doing some handcrafted stuff, right? So not everything is solely relied upon from the planet standpoints that you'll be traversing to on procedural generation. Where I'm sure there will be planets where they are fully procedural generated, but that's good to hear. I mean, my first impression is like, oh, okay, well, there's gonna be so much damn stuff to do within the game itself that uh, I'm probably not gonna be able to explore it all anyway, right? So like, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I think the game has a lot of potential, but you know, it is kind of a new thing. It's a new IP for Bethesda, so we'll see if they can pull it off or if it comes out and it's kind of like, meh.
So wait, did you say that you can fly into space in
Yes,
in this game, right? And you can fight other
yes.
players in your so it's not just single player.
No, it's single player, but you can fight
Mm.
other NPC
Oh, okay.
battles in space.
Spacecraft.
Yeah, you can fight other spacecrafts that are piloted by
It
non-playable characters.
again to go on the DLC thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they add a PvP element through DLC eventually. Where you build your
Yeah, maybe.
spacecraft and then yeah, like Jay was saying, you battle other player characters.
My only thing with Bethesda from their track record is when
Yeah,
Skyrim came out, like,
not good
single
for
player, it's
PvP.
great. Well, they
Fallout
did
76, is that what it's called?
76. Yeah, and
Yeah, from an
surprisingly,
MMO
like,
standpoint, that's improved, but that was
mhm.
a disaster at first. But it's
It's gotten
improved,
better
and
though.
and
That
there's
bombed.
there's there's Elder Scrolls Online that has a following, and I think it's a good game. And they may end up doing like a Starfield MMO thing, but that's not their,
Right.
that's not their,
You got to think
the
they know what
specialty.
they're
It's
good
armor.
at, and they know they nailed it with
Yeah,
Skyrim. I mean, they have what 8 editions of Skyrim that are still selling to this day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course
So
they do.
they know they can make single player games, and I would hope that they're focusing on that for this game and just putting their best developers on,
Right.
making the best single player experience that they can.
With Skyrim too, like the game's been out for years at this point, and there were these guys that pretty much modded the game, and they made a new game called Skyrim Together, where you can play Skyrim with other people.
Yep.
And I've been wanting to try
Oh,
that,
that's cool.
but
They've made improvements to it as well. Yeah.
yeah.
I know the
So
modding scene is huge, and I'm sure the modding scene will be, just as big for Starfield.
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
I
That's
imagine it will
something
be
that they
good.
do really well is they release their assets so people can mod and have player made content from day one, hopefully.
Some of it's good. Some of it's like, I'm gonna make a character look like SpongeBob or a fire hydrant and like run
Yeah,
around.
and I think they probably are going to do this fully intentionally,
make,
where they have
make
a
everyone
bunch.
nude.
Yeah, well, they have a
Yeah.
bunch of planets where they really haven't developed much of, which leaves the modding community with so much to do. If they wanted to, they could customize their own planet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's space. Like space is, limitless. So they
Or
Final
customize your
potential is
own
frontier.
there.
star system. So yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there, and we just gotta wait and see what happens. But I like the overall story arc of the game, and that's your kind of like this faction constellation, and you're coming across, and you're really the last of the faction, which are they're like the Indiana Jones of NASA, apparently, I guess. Then they're like the last of the space explorers, and really the mission of the game will be to really kind of get to the source of understanding what the greater questions in life
Hey,
are, like how the universe began and
right.
why it got formed and all that. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I love
Mike,
that.
what's your gut telling
Yeah.
you? Is it going to be a good game?
Yeah. What's your gut telling you?
Oh, my gut is telling me that it's going to be yes. That's going to be a good game. Um, my gut
Skyrim
is
esque,
also
or maybe that's a large
Well, it was
my gut
bill
quoted.
to
my
fill.
gut is telling me it won't be as popular as Skyrim,
No.
but I could be wrong.
It could
Um,
be.
it's if I had to guess, it will probably be good. I think the game would be positively received, but it may not even be as popular as Fallout either. You know, so
Wow. Might just be a niche game that
it
they
might.
spent a ton of time developing and just doesn't quite catch on.
I
But
just.
I could be wrong. I mean, it could be. I would say that's the floor. Is that maybe it's the third best?
Hmm.
And I don't see the floor being that it's a dumpster fire, but you never know. And the ceiling, I think, is that it could be as good as Elder Scrolls, but like Elder Scrolls
Wow.
is so flushed out,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and it has such a strong
Morrowind,
And
following.
Oblivion, Skyrim,
dude,
Elder Scrolls
Yeah,
I've
Online,
been
like
thinking about,
yeah,
and
Daggerfall.
I don't know if I talked about it on this, but I've been thinking about reinstalling Morrowind. Um, like
yeah. I replayed it.
the
It's good.
remastered version with better graphics. I've been thinking about
I have it
getting that.
modded, fully modded. It's fantastic. I have this like little YouTube video of it's called like I barely have any views, but I have this little YouTube video. It's called like Nerevar meets Dragonborn or something,
Hmm.
and it's like a 2-minute video. Feel free to check out my channel. You'll see how the game looks modded because I literally do like a little. I don't know. It's just I was just trying things out. I wanted to see if it got any buzz, but it's cool. You'll get to see actually like footage and gameplay of me going through the world and what that looks like when it's all modded up and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah. Morrowind is. I really like Morrowind. There's a
Groundbreaking
lot
at
of.
the time.
Yeah. So
I
was
think it's
Oblivion
got the
too.
strongest story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dude, that was my first foray into the whole Elder Scrolls saga. But
Most of us
I
was
didn't
on
even do
Morrowind.
the quests. I just ran around and robbed people and
Yeah,
explored and
like most of us. Yeah,
I didn't even do like the main quest line. I didn't even know if I knew how to do the quests. I
yeah. I
just
remember when I was little, I was the same way too. It took me so long to even figure out that there was a quest line.
and those stupid what were those things on the mountain, like the dragons or whatever, or
Or
the
the birds. What are they called?
the
Like the
The
cliff racer.
pterodactyl thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
those things. Yeah, I could never get past those. I would always die because I couldn't get to the next
and
city because
they'd
those things
always
would gank you.
squawk at you. They go.
Yeah,
Well, that's
It's
one
funny.
thing I like about
you hear that and
Morrowind.
you're like, oh shit, got to run even
Yeah.
faster.
I
It's like
like that about
God, not this
Morrowind
again.
more. Like the thing I like about Morrowind more than Skyrim is with the quests in Morrowind, right? you like, it's not voice, there's no voice actors. You actually have to go to places and get information, and based on that information, you get a general direction of where to go. And with Skyrim and the markers, it's great, it's convenient, it puts a point on the map, but the whole and Mike and I kind of differ on this.
We
The
definitely
whole
disagree.
the point for me playing the game, right, is I just want to be thrown in and just let me look for every single nook and cranny, just find stuff. Like I want to. It's almost just blindfolded, like that. That to me, the unknown, and then the information you get from NPCs or whatever items given to you. Like that's why I play those games. And it's a little controversial because a lot of people don't like that, but
Mhm.
it's like Elden Ring now. Elden Ring, you you most of the lore is from items. You talk to somebody and they'll say something and they won't give you a location to go to. It's just it's kind of like it's kind of in jest, or it's very vague. And I like that.
Yeah,
I like
snooze
I
fest. Gator, how do you feel
yeah.
about it?
About
Would you rather
Morrowind?
have quest markers? Like, would you rather have like um something that shows you like where to go in a quest or what to do in a quest beyond the fact of just like having to
Yeah.
read? Yeah, see,
I,
but
I'd I'd rather have I'd rather have the option. I think if I'm really struggling
sure.
to find something, maybe you turn on like a little notifier, little help. You click on the quest and it shows you where to go. But
I like
I,
being lost, man.
yeah,
You
I do like that too. There's something to be said about that, and yeah, that's what made Morrowind so great. Is they would just say, "Go meet this guy in this city." It's like, and then you
know,
go to the city and you're like, "Okay, where the hell is this guy?" Like, I have no idea where to. You
Yeah,
got to go in every house to find him, and then
that's the
I
part
like
of
that.
it.
yeah,
I,
yeah, that is really
Yeah.
cool.
So
the reason I like that though is because
that's
it's
actually the only
exploration.
drawback for the game for me. But yeah,
But it's the exploration while you're looking for this person and you go exploring around the city, you might find something that you never intentionally, you know, you weren't looking for it, but you found it. And that to me is like it's like playing Zelda, Link to the Past or Final Fantasy on SNES or regular Nintendo. And it's just kind of open. It's based on dialogue.
right. So games used to
Maybe
be
Final
made.
Fan, yeah, and Breath of the Wild too. Like that's another game too. It just kind of
Wind Waker.
wow,
You ever
Wind
play that
Waker.
one,
Yeah, I played that one.
dude?
But I mean,
I
any of the
love Wind
Zelda
Waker.
games, like most of the story and quest is driven from a dialogue, but there's no marker. And sure, it's linear. Like Breath of the Wild isn't very linear, but the other games are pretty linear, but there's still that sense of unknown. I remember playing Zelda as a kid, and I'd just be walking around, chopping bushes, just collecting rubies, and I'd find a cave or a place that I couldn't figure out how to get there, and eventually, as you did more dungeons and progressed, you get an item that would allow you to get there or something, and that to me that is one of the best qualities for a video game. Like being lost, sure. Mike he hates it because I think you said it. It sounds like more work for you, but for me, it's just more fun
Yeah,
because
yeah. It's
I
like
I
creating more work.
love
I mean, I should be paid to do that. If I'm playing a game and you're wasting my time, you should pay me to play the
that.
game.
I don't think it's time wasted. I think it's time spent very valuably because you are exploring. Listeners, you are exploring like Indiana Jones, and you are finding all the nooks and crannies, and you might find a really cool item that you didn't intend to find. And with Starfield, I can if they have 1,000 planets, and based off Skyrim model, they're gonna have
Right.
markers for sure because it's
Yeah,
just gonna be too
They have
massive. They're
to.
not gonna just throw you in. They're not gonna from software it. It's too daring.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. All right, so okay, let's move on. I think there's few more games we want to talk about. First, I know, Gator, you want to talk about Diablo Immortal, correct?
Yeah, I just have a quick hitter on that. I mean, we've
We're
all
gonna talk
seen
about Diablo. We're gonna talk about all Diablo, by the way. But yeah, Gator, go ahead.
Diablo,
Yeah. Yeah, we
Diablo,
might as well. Let's talk it all.
El Diablo. I mean, we all love the series. Iconic. I remember playing D2 on my, you know, gateway computer back in the day.
Your shit
So
brick.
my
Sorry, your
Dell,
potato.
yeah, my Dell potato that my parents bought. Um, yeah, I mean, installing it off a CD. You guys remember those? Remember CDs? Those
I
little
still
CD-ROMs,
have.
baby.
I still have my Diablo 2.
compact disc.
Yeah, I have the original. What is it? 4 or 6 discs. I have them still.
Yeah. I mean, that was such a great game. Um, we all loved it. D3 started off rough, but they pulled it together eventually. Um,
I
it,
liked it.
Something I forgot about was the Real Money Auction House that they
Yeah,
launched
Mike, you
with,
missed this because they didn't launch this on console actually
and
for Diablo 3.
I
Oh,
forgot.
really?
One of my roommates in college sold an item for $300,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of want to go back and see if those items that were sold early on, if they still are used late game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, they're still they're
There's
still in the game, but the problem with it was when the game came out, the lead designer, his name was Jay Wilson, and there were some interviews because with Blizzard North's Fallout, like Blizzard pretty much scrapped the Blizzard North studio because they weren't making the game that they wanted to see because it'd been years since Diablo 2 came out, and within that time, you had World of Warcraft come out, and what their
Mhm.
model was, and I'm not sure if they were acquired by Vivendi at this time or if it was right before Activision, bought it up, but they wanted to go in the WoW direction, especially with Jay Wilson's vision of the game. So the problem with the game, right, was you had this real life, online or auction house real time, and people could sell the items on there. But the problem was whenever you kill like an extremely hard boss, or you'd reach a point in the game where it was like a feat of strength to beat something, you would just get garbage loot. Like you'd get yellows and blues, and it's like, where are the green items? Where's my legendaries?
Mhm.
And you'd be playing with if you want the best loot in Diablo, at least back in the day, you wanted to play with as many players as possible, so the loot table and the boss difficulty would go up.
Yeah. So
And
it's
that
scaled
was,
up, right?
yeah. But the problem was that this auction house, I mean, people cheated and exploited the hell out of that game with like magic find. Most of the people in the end game were the demon hunters because they were absolutely broken, like for farming bosses.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was, yeah,
I,
it was just a mess, man. And with the flack too from him, he basically shit on David Brevik and the
I,
guys making Diablo 1 and 2.
I was reading some Reddit posts, and I guess they capped like how much you could sell an item for at, like, I don't know, it was like $1,500 or something. But guys were talking about in this Reddit post selling items for 1,500 USD. Like, are you kidding me? And I know the Real Money Auction House didn't last long. Maybe like a month or two, after launch. It was
Yeah,
something like that. They took it out pretty quick, and it got a lot of flack for that. But um, you
I think
know,
Jay Wilson was replaced too.
but besides that, the game was pretty good. They fixed it. They had a few big patches that really fixed the game. They had Reaper of Souls, right? The expansion that introduced new content, and did it introduce the Necromancer, or was that a? I think that might have been a separate.
Might have been a little bit later, but they
Yeah, I,
introduced
I
Six
think that was a
Crusaders. Sorry, I
separate.
opened the door.
I think that was
Yeah.
a separate expansion, but they fixed D3 um,
Yeah, it's
largely
good now.
after launch, and now let's moving on to Immortal. Um, we've all seen the videos, we've all seen the streamers, we've seen the YouTube videos. Asmongold,
Good
you name
God.
it.
I watched a
What a,
guy,
what a what a cash grab, dude! What a freaking cash grab!
Bobby,
Bobby,
Bobby
yeah,
K,
Bobby Kotick,
making that
just
money.
Are you
targeting the
saying
whales.
you wouldn't pay $1,500 for an item?
Mike, there are guys. There's a video of a guy.
If
What
I
if
could
it's a
afford it, if I
really
was a billionaire, sure, why not? But
Yeah,
what if it's a really good item?
there's a guy on the internet, and he has a character probably worth in items and just like the things you need to do stuff, like the consumables or whatever. Apparently, this guy's character was like, I think it was like 26 to like 40 grand,
yeah,
and he got pissed off at the game, and he just deleted it. Just deleted the character.
Jesus.
part of me thinks he might have been like in the development
He,
crew,
well, he can character recovery. Blizzard has that shit. They'll
right?
he can probably just do it. He was probably just
Or
doing
he's
it for
just a
views or
whale. He's
something.
just a millionaire whale, like a trust
Yeah.
fund kid
Yeah.
that has money to piss away like that. But yeah, I mean, they're talking like $15,000 to max out one gem, like one single gem,
Jesus.
which is insane, dude. It's just like it's a lottery system. It's gambling essentially,
It's
and
100% gambling.
it's e-gambling, and it's just it's sad. I don't know. It's sad to see where Blizzard was, back in the
It's not
D2
Blizzard
days.
anymore. Yeah, it's
Back
not
in the
Blizzard
D2
anymore, man.
days, nostalgia, D2, WoW Classic, WoW Vanilla, and where it is now. And I don't know, it's just sad to see the whole, transgression. And then I don't know, I'm not super optimistic for D4 whenever that comes out. Probably, I don't know,
I mean, we're gonna
2024.
play it. We're gonna play Diablo.
Probably, but
If it's not like Diablo Immortal, we're
Definitely, I'm
100%
definitely
gonna
gonna
if,
play
play
it.
it.
if there's a pay to win aspect, dude, I'm out for sure.
I'm out
Like
too. Yeah,
I'm
they'd be
not gonna
stupid.
waste my time if
Sure.
it's pay to win, and
Yeah,
I'm not gonna waste my money either.
yeah, I agree with that. And plus, like there is some like good news from them basically canning Blizzard North and David Brevik. Like he went on to go make Marvel Heroes, and that was fun while it lasted. Rest in
Yeah.
peace. Thanks, Dave. Or what's the other guy's name? I think the guy that destroyed the game was David Dorman or something. Shout out to that douchebag.
Well,
Um,
I don't think Jeff Kaplan was in on it, but he has also moved on since
Jeff
Overwatch.
Kaplan's moved on. Everyone from Blizzard is gone. The five guys that basically started it. I'm pretty sure that like only one's there, or he's even gone too. So it's Blizzard now is just morphed into Activision Vivendi into Microsoft, and once an IP is traded, like it's at that point the heart of the game is like it's gone. You know. Like we've seen
Yeah,
it with Blizzard, but I mean, at least with Blizzard getting canned, you got Marvel Heroes Outlasted, and you also got for the Path of Exile gamers. I mean, in an interview, David Brevik and the guys that made Diablo 1 and 2, they said that Path of Exile is it's the spiritual successor to Diablo 2. And for me, Diablo 2, like if we can like if we played it now, if we bought the new one off Blizzard for like $20, or we bought it off of like a game site that sells retro games that has network play, we could play that game for a while together. Like it's a lot of fun. Diablo 2.
yeah.
Like I've actually been thinking about trying to play it with like a group of friends,
Getting
maybe see if they'd want to.
the remastered one.
Yeah, I mean, even just like no, we're shit talking Blizzard, but I mean, it's $20, and as
I
long
have
as
it
there's
for
no
PS5.
Oh, you do?
Diablo 2,
Yeah, they
they have
remastered it
Diablo
for
2 on
PS,
the
but it might actually
yeah,
be
but
PS4 remaster. But I play it. Obviously, I have a PS5, so I
Cool.
played it with my brother for a little while, and
Diablo 2 or
we
Diablo
enjoyed
3.
it too.
See, I don't understand how they'd be able to do that, because with Diablo 2, you can have like the amount of spells that you can have in it is just crazy on computer. I remember switching through like
It's a little bit
I know
limited on controller, sure.
Yeah. Because I remember I was able to like with like, even the Herodric cube and all the runes and like it's just so good, man. It's so much better than Diablo 3 on computer because there has to be some limits to the with the controller. Like I remember having as many spells as my sorcerer could, put on her little bar, because you'd end up getting weapons that would give you like +1 to this spell, and like there was Enigma in Diablo 2, which people would get, and it allowed them to teleport. So there's just so many good things about Diablo 2. It's just such a good game. I just don't know how
Great.
they do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So last topic, I just want to go on a tangent because we haven't had a cast since this came out. There was like a 1 minute trailer, hype trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. And there's not much from it except I really am kind of getting the idea now that they are really kind of leaning into this multiverse idea, and not in the same sense of like time travel and how that works with Star Wars. That's completely different. But with Final Fantasy VII, like the trailer starts out with Aerith basically saying that the futures might have happened, but it's not. It can be changed, right? It's not written in stone, which really kind of suggests that the worst part of the whole game that makes you cry as a little kid is when she
Yeah.
dies.
Spoiler
So I
alert.
kind of I just
People who
for a
haven't
game
played Final Fantasy VII, came out in
that came out
96,
in
97.
98
You haven't
maybe.
beaten it. This is your
Yeah,
last warning. Well, you've
yeah.
already heard the spoiler, so.
For sure.
But yeah, sorry.
But I just want to get you guys' take. Do you like the idea? I'll share what I think in the end. Do you like the idea of being able to save Aerith, or do you think that that should be set in stone? And
No, I like the idea of saving her because her 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 theme song, the Aerith theme song, has been stuck in my head for the last goddamn 20 years. And if I could save the little flower girl who gave me the flower after I was running away from what's the bad guys in there that make everything? It's not Silphcomb, that's
Shinra,
Pokemon. Shinra, I would save her. Like, yeah, of course I'd save her. Cuz she's
Save
like,
the girl.
yeah, she's sweet. She's
but
cool,
what if
man.
it
And
meant? What if it
You
meant
always
if
save the
you?
child.
What if it meant if you saved her, as a result, Tifa ends up
Tifa
dying?
died. Then I probably wouldn't save her. Because as much as I like Aerith, Tifa is like, I mean, it's Tifa.
She's
This
10
little
out of
boy.
10, right? She's got everything. She's got the, nice perky.
Pixelated body.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, where Aerith is a little more, like
Top heavy.
um
This is a very
well,
controversial thing we're talking about right now.
not top heavy, but she's just not really built for performance.
Built for
But
speed.
but here's okay, I wasn't even gonna ask that question, but now that I did, I would still save I would still save Aerith because as a kid growing up and playing the game, I had the biggest crush on her over any of the other characters. So I would I
Simp.
would I would save her even if it meant that Tifa would die.
Hey,
That's
don't
just
talk
me.
about my internet girlfriend like that. You keep my girlfriend's name out your mouth.
Keep my e-girl's name in my favorite video game from 1997 out of your goddamn mouth.
I have a body pillow, an Aerith body pillow.
You just play this theme song. Oh my! I love the music from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Oh, it's so good.
But
Shout out to
anything else?
Nobuyo Matsuo.
Yeah, anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we wrap things up for today?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no, for everybody who's listening, thanks for joining us again for this episode. definitely be sure to tune in a couple weeks. We're going to have plenty to talk about like we always do. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for listening in, and we'll see you on the next episode.